imagine if you get slapped on the arse, is your first instinct to run after someone?
Probably. It depends. It depends on how I was spanked.
Hello and welcome back to another week of Two Sheep in a Pool. My name's James.
My name's Ben.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, it's been pretty nice, hasn't it, recently?
Yeah?
It's been we've had the warmest winter days ever.
Well, you say it's been pretty nice. It's then become awful again. I've been
has.
hating the last few days.
It has.
Yeah.
But it was the hottest day in February twice in successive days. Yeah, so it was the hottest day ever. And then the day after was the hottest day ever again because it beat the day before.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, so we've had the two nicest days in winter ever.
Global warming.
And then we had a storm, and so it's been horrible.
Storm Freya?
Storm Freya.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been not very nice.
Yeah, the wind, we've said before, this flat with the wind is so loud.
Yeah.
And it had been fine since the last time, and then it started again a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
I had to get the earplugs out.
I reckon that's the wind that caused that. So just before we've come on air,
Before we come on air, yes.
before we start recording, Ben had some vibrating cutlery in like some sort of weird setup.
What is cutlery?
Cutlery?
Cutlery.
Oh no.
Cutlery.
Yeah, cutlery.
Sounds like some sort of crustacean.
Right. I think the thing is, normally it's said in like a northern cutlery.
Cutlery?
Yeah, does that sound better? Because you don't say the T cutlery.
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 Let's move on.
Not fork and knives. Knives and fork. They were making you've ruined my story, Ben, because they were making some sort of weird electronic noise that's like a buzzing. Like we thought they were doing some work outside, or your laptop was making a noise, but it was just the whole flat was vibrating and causing the cutlery to make a noise.
Oh God. Anyway,
moving on. Any complaints?
No.
Well, I've got a little bit of one.
Go on.
And it's a complaint at myself, really.
Okay.
Is that how bad I am at fighter games.
Okay.
Because so recently I just bought Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is a fighting game. And
which you've been wanting for a while now.
A while now, yeah. I've been kind of like sitting on it and I eventually bought it.
Has it lived up to... I feel like it was one of those ones that you could have easily hyped up so much in your head that it was disappointing when you got it.
A little bit, but I kind of also knew what it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's not a big story-driven game. It is multiplayer. It's about beating other people.
So I'd have been disappointed.
Probably.
Yeah.
And I'm disappointed because the beating other people part is not happening at all, really. So basically I'm bad.
You're bad.
Yeah, and I hate that I'm bad.
Yeah.
And I'm getting like frustrated. I'm literally shouting at the TV at my own flat on my own. Like yesterday, I played it for a couple of hours. I just shouted at my TV, which I used to do when I was younger.
I was going to ask you, because do you get pretty bad road rage with games?
I used to a lot.
Yeah.
And then I got much better at kind of like controlling my anger. And then this game has just brought it out of me.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally screaming at the TV.
Have you ever broken things from it?
No.
Because I had a friend when we were at school that was, I can't remember what game it would have been, but he broke a controller by just smashing it because he got really frustrated and snapped a disc of the game we were playing because he was so frustrated as well. You've never done...
No, I've never been that bad. I have got I've been like, I like grip the controller like hard, but I've never via pure strength broken something. Yeah. But I can understand where people come from. It's just because I'm bad.
Game's good, you're bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wish, because usually when I start a new game, for example, like when I played League of Legends, I didn't know how bad I was.
Yeah.
And I was put up against other people who were also bad.
Yeah.
Whereas now I feel like I play people that are only good and it just shows me how bad I am. I feel like I'm in a race where I can't walk versus Usain Bolt.
Yep.
So I feel like a right fool. And getting quite mad at myself.
Do you feel that you might have missed the ship? The ship has sailed on people who have been playing this game for a while now, and they've got really good, and you're just entering now. Is it one of those games?
But also because it's a sequel as well.
Yeah.
And there's previous to these games that are quite similar. And I've not played many fighting games as well.
So you're joining really late.
So So I haven't got any like cross compatibility skills from like fighting games. So I'm just mad at myself.
Well,
My complaint this week is me.
yeah, you're being back to being an angry man now.
I am.
And your complaint's about you being angry at yourself?
Yes.
You're getting very meta with this complaint.
Fair enough. Right.
Right.
News Bleat.
News Bleat.
Unless you got anything else?
No. All right.
Right. I got that I thought you might have seen or heard about is because it's to do with cycling.
Oh, this might be the news story that I've got.
It's about women's cycling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the women's cycling race forced to pause after the lead rider catches the men's race.
Yeah.
Is that what you got as well?
That is what I've got.
What do you think about that? I thought you would have more information about it.
Well, yeah, I was going to bring this because I thought it'd just be a good discussion point on men and women's sport.
Yeah.
Because I think speaking majoritively, not just in cycling, a lot of women's sport is at a big disadvantage commercially speaking with getting sponsorship and all that.
Yeah, so when you, for example, compare the most popular sport in the world, football, versus women's football,
exactly,
it's a massive disparity.
Yeah. So what happened in this one is, so this was during the classic season in cycling, which are a lot of one day events. So it's not like the tour, which is 3 weeks long or anything.
Right.
So what normally happens is the men's race will go, and then the women's race will go behind the race, and they'll kind of happen concurrently but separately.
Yeah.
So what happened in this one is the men's race went, and I'm pretty sure the gap was only 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
After, with the idea being that the speed will be higher in the men's and they'll never cross over.
Right.
But someone broke away at the beginning of the women's race, attacked, reached the back end of the men's race, and then she was neutralized. So she was told, you can't keep attacking, you've got to stop.
Can we just stop for a second? Being neutralized during a race is a very weird way of saying it. It sounds like she was attacked and killed by some sort of assassin. We've neutralized the threat. It's like the men's cycling. We've got to neutralize this threat and just killed her off.
That's what happened, yeah.
Oh,
that's why it's news.
That's why she came, because she finished 74th in the end. Is that last? Was she just she dead?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Wow. She just coasted it in the whole way.
No, but I think this is a really weird situation, and I don't think it should have been handled as it was.
Yeah.
So who knows? She might not have won anyway, because quite often in cycling, a load of people you'll try and chance it basically by breaking away at the beginning and try and solo it to the finish. 9 times out of 10, you'll get caught. But that might not have happened. I don't know what the solution is there. Maybe just give a way bigger...
Yeah, it's
time gap
that they've made a mistake earlier, and there's no way to rectify it apart from what they did, unless you go, well, then she can ride with the men, but then she's at a massive
because she reached the tail end. Basically, you've got the peloton of riders, and then behind you'll have all of the mechanics cars and service vehicles. But she would have obviously been drafting them, and probably caught the men's group,
right?
And then once you're in that group, it's kind of easy enough to stay in it because you can just draft 100 people and you kind of just get sucked along in that big group. Yeah,
even me and you could do that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You sure?
With a motorbike.
With a motorbike, yeah. Weird situation.
Yeah. What is your opinion on like male and female separated sports?
It's a tricky topic, really.
Yeah, because another thing that I saw recently was Bridge was the card game was hoping to get into the Olympics.
Okay,
and basically I saw some stuff that they had to do male and female separated because the Olympics are separated
right
into male and female. If that makes sense, and. Some big news recently in the bridge world was that the number one bridge player got banned for performance-enhancing drugs.
Right.
And what he was taking was like testosterone.
Okay.
And stuff like that. And people were like, how does that make any sense?
At risk of sounding really dumb here, what is bridge?
It's a card game.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
okay,
so it's like gin rummy. It's kind of like that. Where you have a pair playing versus another pair.
Yeah.
And you sit around a table. and you play in your partnership to score the most points, I think.
Cool.
Basically like that. And because they're trying to be into the Olympics, they have, they do drug testing, and it has to be male and female separated and stuff like this, which sounds a bit silly for a game that is...
I'm surprised that this is being entertained as going into the Olympics.
Well, yeah, is because they want to be seen as a sport and not a game, basically, because it's like a brain sport.
Is it?
Well, that's where do you define sport?
Yeah.
Do you have to have some sort of physical attributes?
Well, I would say yeah.
What about, I don't know, shooting and stuff like that? You don't have to be physically strong in that, but there is still
definitely a physical element to that. But I wouldn't say, for example, poker should be in the Olympics.
No.
Or,
because the other one is chess. It's also been wanted to get into the Olympics.
Yeah.
Which is a similar kind of thing. Where
I feel like you might be able to comment more on this, seeing as you're actually involved with chess a lot more than me, but do you feel that should be
in the Olympics?
In the Olympics.
I think it's big enough on its own that it doesn't need to be in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Not that it's huge, but the Olympics have like special rules where you have to be an amateur and stuff like that, where you can't be paid to do the sport.
Well,
it
used to be that way, hadn't it? But
is it not like that anymore?
It's open to
take
professionals now. Yeah. Maybe, well, you got the Summer Olympics, Winter Olympics. It's not the same thing. Maybe there should be another Olympics for sports games. I don't want to speak out of turn here,
Olympics,
but it just feels like it's a separate thing.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. Like a mind Olympics.
Yeah.
For skill-based stuff in that sense. Because I wouldn't say, for example, like gaming, we're into that, and there's a lot of competitive gaming. That shouldn't be in the Olympics.
No, because they have... was that a sport? Is it an electronic sport? It's called esports.
An esport, yeah. Well, I suppose that's separate again. Oh, God, there's so many discussions that could come off this discussion.
There is. So basically, bridge, I don't think should be in the Olympics, and neither should chess.
No.
Which I think is fine.
But back to the male-female side of things. I think it is really hard to get around because in something that's more mind-based, that we were just talking about, like chess and bridge, that seems like it could be fairly open to both genders competing in the same one. But it is really hard to get around the fact that there are physical differences between male and female, that it just wouldn't work as well. That said, every single pro-female athlete would completely wipe the floor with male amateur athletes, like in that sense. But then when you get to that top elite level, it will always have that separation.
Like if you look at like the top sprints ever, I think you have to go down to a long list of people who have done like all the fastest times until you get to a female time, which is like if you only wanted the top sports people to be competing for something like the 100-meter sprints, it would just all be male, and then you would never have a female race.
That's, I mean, even if you opened it up to that, I feel like it would just naturally separate in that way anyway.
Yeah, it'd almost be more exclusive because you would see less females because it wouldn't be a woman. Yeah. Well, not winning at all, and you probably wouldn't see it you wouldn't, if you watch the Olympics of only the best sprinters, it'd only be men because they produce the best times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
which is not fair. But in something like chess, do you think there should be a separation?
Again, don't want to speak out of turn because I'm not that involved with chess, but I don't see a reason why that wouldn't work there.
Okay.
Do you?
So there are... Shall I tell you how it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is an open section, so anybody can enter it regardless of male or female.
Okay.
And then there are women-only tournaments as well. Which is... So do you get understand that? So there's women only, but there isn't any men
only.
Yeah, because it's kind of
so
open.
How does the open league work? If you were to look at the top 10 per se, what's the percentage breakdown there?
The top 10 players in the world?
Yeah, in the open.
Yeah, if you go by rating, should we do it? I think out of the... I'm going to go out on a limb and say there is no female in the top 10.
Right. So do you think that that's down to ability separation, or do you think it's more down to the sport being so focused towards male historically that not as many females has got into the sport from an early age type thing?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think. I think so.
Yeah. So do you think that could change it? For example, if we had this conversation again in 5-10 years' time, do you think that the sport as a whole might be moving more towards that, or do you think it would look the same?
I don't know. I don't know like enough about the anatomy of how the brain works, differentiate between male and female. If there is any actual significant difference that causes more extreme measures in males, so like there's more stupid guys, but there's also more extremely good guys in like a mental sport, whereas women is more less poor people at the game. I use stupid, but I mean like kind of poor at the game, and people that are the less extreme. So if you imagine like a bell curve of like a normal bell curve and the extremes, a male bell curve may be wider than a female bell curve, but I don't actually know.
Because I'm actually surprised by that stat. I thought that there would be.
Right, let's I think I've got them up here. Okay, so the number one rated female in chess is rated 2,662. Okay, and that puts her at 87 in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, and then number 2 is not in the top 100.
Huh.
So she's the only woman in the top 100 list.
That is surprising. So, I'm wondering now, you have recently just taught chess to young people.
I have.
What was the male-female split there?
It was even.
Even?
Yeah, like it wasn't disproportionately male.
Yeah.
Definitely not. But I wonder if that's because it's different now than it used to be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that brings... So when you were saying about the bridge player that was tested for testosterone...
Well, they do tests for them because they want to be in the Olympics. Yeah, and it tested for testosterone.
Why? I didn't realise that testosterone had
It doesn't really...
an effect on mental capacity.
No, it's just because it's a banned substance for like any Olympic sports. So that's why...
So was he necessarily taking it for benefits, or could it have been for medical reasons that he...
He probably went to his doctor feeling a bit low in energy and was like, oh, my libido's low. And his doctor's like, oh, take testosterone. And he's not even thought about it. Like, yes, it's on him to understand that there are banned substances in the sports that he plays.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was taking it to get an advantage in playing bridge.
I was going to say, maybe that's a fairly new thing in the bridge community for drug testing.
Probably.
Because I was going to say, I can't imagine... Well, that said, there are a lot of drugs that you could take to focus mental...
Yeah, for certain. Like, even back when I used to be into really a lot of esports, the tournaments people were taking stuff like Adderall, where it's like, it's a performance-enhancing drug. It's taken to alleviate ADHD symptoms. Yeah. So it's basically it helps you focus, and it makes you better at whatever you're doing at the time. So, yes, I think this woman's race, gaining with the man's race, has spawned some good thoughts.
Yeah. I was going to say that's turning into a quite
big
off-topic conversation.
Yes. Well, thanks for the news.
There we go. Have we got any more news?
No, but I think that's enough.
Yeah, that was the only story that I have for news as well. So, okay, cool. That got very serious very quickly, that.
It did. I'd be interested to see what other people think.
Definitely. Because I think one of the bigger issues is funding between male and female sports. Because I see an argument a lot that there's not as much funding because the viewership numbers are so much lower in women's sport. But then that seems like a problem that needs to be addressed. Because if you're watching sport, like, because I've watched women's cycling and men's cycling, and both are extremely exciting to watch. But I think just historically, it's not as widely accepted. Yeah. And I wonder how you could go about changing that. Yeah,
I don't know. Is it that more men watch sport and men want to watch men?
Yeah.
Or like we said before, the best and the quickest and the fastest and the best thing in sports are often men.
Yeah.
And so people want to watch the best.
That. Yeah. Well, email in your thoughts.
Yes. If you've got a solution to society, please let us know.
Yeah.
Right. Should we move on to fake news or not?
Fake news or not? Here we go.
Right, Ben. I've been a bit miffed recently with this because you've been winning.
I've been crushing it.
And I don't like that you win and I lose. Although it shouldn't really be whether I win or lose. It's whether you win or lose, and I don't know why I take like personal offense to it. but I do.
I really need to tally these up. I want to actually know what the score is for these.
Okay, well, what would it be out of 22 this time?
Yeah.
Is that what you're counting?
Well, do we say like 2 points per story? I mean, 1 point per story. So there's 2 potentially up for grabs every week.
Yeah, and sometimes there was more than one, wasn't there?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just a point per story, basically. That can go either to you or me.
Okay, that sounds fine.
Yeah, I need to tally that up.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll either make it into the edit this week if I find time, or I'll do it for next week.
Okay.
For when we're recording.
That's fine. Are you ready?
Do you want to explain what the game is?
Yes, I
We've
will.
not even
I always
said
forget this.
the name of the segment yet.
Yes. So this is Fake News or Not, where I come each week with some ridiculous news that is real, or I come with some news that I've made up which is fake, and Ben has to figure out whether it's fake news or not. Okay. So the first one is, water bosses have asked people not to flush unwanted Yorkshire puddings down the toilet.
That seems very specific. Water bosses sounds so general as well. It almost sounded like, I don't know, like some, if you're playing a game, like the water boss at the end.
Right.
I'm guessing it's not that.
Yeah, it's not. This
isn't a water monster.
It's not a water monster.
He's not unhappy with Yorkshire puddings coming his way. I think the water monster would quite like the Yorkshire puddings.
I think that's fair enough. Depends if he's gluten free, though. Do you know what I mean?
We'll dig into that in a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other one is, Suffolk police warn locals to be cautious of anyone riding a unicycle after a number of ride-by spankings.
Right.
Would you like to ask any questions?
Okay, immediately these seem like harder headlines than the past few weeks.
Yeah, I've been on a search. On a search. To be fair though,
Either searching the web or searching your mind.
my soul. In my usual places where I find silly news, I did find the news about the women's cycling.
Oh, is that way? I was going to say, where did you hear about that?
Because people were basically like, "This is stupid,"
Right.
and it was like on the news that I frequent.
I was going to say, because I saw that at least 6 or 7 times amongst the cycling things I follow. But right, okay, let's go back to water buses. Water buses.
Okay.
That's immediately making me think that you've made this up, because water buses... is this like a united front? Is there a water buses union? Or is this the head of... what's a water company?
It was... Would you like me...
Severn Trent Water.
It was
the
head,
CEO of them.
It was the head of Anglican Water.
Anglican Water. And they oversee everything?
Oh, I've misread that. Anglian Water.
Anglian. Okay, it's not as religious.
Yes, not as religious.
What's led to this? Is this... if it's an isolated incident, surely they wouldn't have reported on it. So this must have happened a few times.
Right.
Yeah. Is that all I'm getting from that?
Well, maybe there was a number of Yorkshire puddings found in the sewage. There was basically Yorkshire puddings have been causing blocks in the sewage, and so they've asked people to stop flushing them down.
They've either got to have a lot of Yorkshire puddings or some really big Yorkshire puddings going on there.
Okay.
I feel like there's not much more I can ask on that. I've just got to decide. Next one.
Yep.
Ride by spankings on a unicycle.
Yes.
Has this been happening anywhere in particular?
In Suffolk.
Oh, in Suffolk. You
Yeah,
did
so
say
Suffolk, please.
Okay. Are they suggesting that this is now like a sporting event? There's a lot of people doing it? Or there's just one serial unicycle spanker?
This is what they're unsure about.
Oh, okay. But there's been lots of reports.
There's been reports of
people being
spanked and then them riding off on a unicycle.
I don't know how fast you could escape on a unicycle. Do you know what I mean? If you had a 2-wheel bike, I would say you could spank and then ride off quicker than someone could chase you.
Yeah.
On a unicycle, I feel like, for example, if you or me were spanked by them,
right,
we could chase them down.
Do you reckon?
I think so. So that's...
Well, maybe they're only going for slow people.
Maybe. They're targeting pensioners or people with walking sticks.
Yeah. It doesn't say who the victims have been.
Right.
But imagine if you get slapped on the arse, is your first instinct to run after someone?
Probably. It depends. It depends on how I was spanked.
Yeah. And do you think they could get a good enough head start on a unicycle? I don't know.
I'm impressed at their balance.
Yeah.
For one, riding the unicycle anyway.
I've seen people juggling on unicycles.
That's true. That's
for
true.
balance-wise, I think once you get going...
the speed element, I just don't think that... I feel like you'd spank them and then there'd be an awkward moment of, oh, well, I'm kind of just next to you now.
Well, maybe.
I don't know about how quick they could ride off. Right, I need to decide.
Okay.
Right, both of these I'm very torn on. The second one, I want to say it's fake, but it's such a specific headline. I don't know whether you would come up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let's go back. Okay, I'm a water boss. I'm reporting on... I'm going to say that one's fake. Mm-hmm. First one's fake. Second one's true.
So what you're saying, the water...
Water bosses,
yeah,
you've made up.
Okay.
Unicycle spanking is real. And I'm not sold on this, but I'm just going to say it.
No, I'm afraid you are wrong on both accounts. The Yorkshire puddings being flushed is a true story. And the Suffolk unicycle spankist is made up by me.
You know what I did there?
What?
I didn't go with my instincts.
You flipped.
I flipped. In my head, I was like, go the other way round. And I taught myself round it. I shouldn't have done that. Congratulations on taking the win again.
Yeah. Basically, people have been flushing Yorkshire puddings down the toilet.
Why?
And so, Anglian Water jokes that even its friends at Yorkshire Water would not welcome the flowery, eggy mess.
What did Christianity Water have to say on the matter?
They posted 2 photos of it, kind of like mixed up and kind of like a full... causing a... There's...
Let's have a look. Oh, that looks disgusting.
Yeah, doesn't look good, does it? They basically asked people not to... I reckon it did happen once, and it's kind of a good story to put out there.
Yeah, must be. I'm impressed at the structural integrity of
here's
Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah, here's the other picture they got.
Structural integrity of that one's not as good.
That's a mush, isn't it? Basically, I think maybe like a restaurant or something like that has flushed them all away.
Yeah.
I can't imagine...
Like a Toby Carvery at the end of the day, they've got 30 of them left and they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. Do you know what the 3 P's are that should be flushed down the toilet? Only.
No.
Can you guess?
Poo.
Yep.
Pee.
Yep.
Paper.
Yes. Good job, Ben. I'm impressed by you there.
Thanks. Do I get a point for that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
That's fair.
Yes, well, I'm back onto winning ways. I'm happy about that.
I can't say I'm happy about that.
I thought you were going to grill me on the unicycle enough that it was... Well, it does sound ridiculous, doesn't it?
It does sound ridiculous.
That was my
I should have grilled more. I think I grilled you more on the Yorkshire pudding one. Yeah. God damn it.
Right. Should we move on after that glorious win?
No, I just want to end it now. Right, let's go to the main topic. Right, main topic today.
Yes.
We're bringing to you on the most exciting and treasured holiday of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Pancake Day.
Pancake Day, or what its actually official name is.
Pancake Day.
Nope.
The day of pancakes.
Try again.
The day where pancakes are eaten.
Do you know what tomorrow is?
The day after Pancake Day. Are you looking for Shrove Tuesday?
Shrove Tuesday, and then what's the Wednesday?
Whiny Wednesdays.
Whiny Wednesdays, correct. That's what they do in the religious one.
Yeah.
No, Ash Wednesday.
Yeah.
You didn't know that, did you?
I mean, I did. I just couldn't think of the name.
Do you know what it's for? Do you know why we do this? Well, welcome.
I feel like I've got
welcome to Religion Corner.
Give me a lesson.
So Shrove Tuesday, I believe, is because it begins Lent.
Mm.
And so Lent is the period of 40 days and 40 nights before Easter.
Should we give something up for Lent?
What about this podcast?
Give up the podcast.
Last one.
That's not the answer I'm looking for.
No. I mean, no.
No.
Well, you're already giving up drinking. So
yeah, I'm really hating that at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm really missing it.
No, I'm not going to give anything up.
Okay.
That's not my thing. Anyway, on this glorious day, we have watched possibly the weirdest piece of cinema I've ever...
I don't think you can call it cinema.
Is it a film?
Actually, before we go into this...
Oh, go teasing
I want to do
now.
a news topic again.
Okay, back to news.
Talking of cinema.
Right.
We've completely missed the Oscars, which have happened since the last episode that we predicted. And I don't know if you noticed, but somebody predicted one of them right.
Ben, we did about 3. And
we did two categories,
okay,
and we both guessed differently for both of them.
Right.
Okay, so for best film, neither of us got it right.
No.
But Best Actor, if you go back and I'll insert audio snippet here.
Nobody cares.
Rami Malek,
yeah. Did you watch Green Book? Have you seen it?
No.
I watched it afterwards.
Should it have won an Oscar?
It won Best Film.
No, I'm saying should it have?
It did.
Yes, I realise that. In your opinion, as someone who's watched the film, should that have won the Oscar?
Yeah, well, it did.
I know it did.
Are you asking me whether it deserved to win it?
Yes.
Yes, I think so.
That's why I wasn't saying did it win, as should it have won.
Well, it did win.
Oh my God.
I just feel like you're phrasing that strangely.
I don't think I am.
I think what you say is, did it deserve to win?
Right. Did it deserve to win the Oscar?
Yes, it was a really good film.
Okay.
Better than all the other...
I thought you said last week that A Star is Born was better than Green Book.
No, not Green Book. Better than... what else to watch? The Favourite.
Oh, maybe you said that.
And the other one that I watched. The Black Klansman.
Black Klansman.
Yeah.
Anyway, the reason I was going to talk about
Go
this...
ahead.
Steven Spielberg has been vocal about whether something cinematic should be included. So things that are produced by Netflix, for example, they shouldn't be eligible to win an Oscar, he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that?
I think you shouldn't ask someone who's serving their own interest.
Yeah.
Unless he's going to start working for Netflix. But, I think it sounds like a man who's threatened.
Yeah. Because there was the other film, Roma, I think was produced or financed in some way by Netflix.
Yeah.
But they also, to get an Oscar nomination, you have to have it screened in cinemas. So they did like a short screening in cinemas. So it was eligible. And he's saying that shouldn't be the case. But does it matter?
No.
No.
I don't think so at all.
Like you or me could make something on iPhones and then publish it online. If it's a good bit of cinema, then...
Yeah.
It's a good bit of cinema, regardless of how it was made.
He's just making an already exclusive club.
Even more.
That kind of jerk all each other off.
Yeah.
Into even more exclusive. Like, what does it matter?
I feel like the complete opposite needs to happen with the Oscars. It needs to just be made wider.
Yeah.
It's just going to die at some point because it's getting so like...
films...
Old white men's club of... It has to be this specific thing and we're going to just not let anyone else in.
What? Steve, I'm going to call him.
Steve.
Stevie.
Yeah. Ask Stevie.
Stevie S. Mm-hmm. He's going to come out in, for 10 years' time. He's like, only films by me should be nominated for an Oscar. So I've made 6 this year.
Not undermining him. He's had a massive impact on cinema.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
It's very self-serving.
It's irrelevant on who finances a film. Anyway, that just reminded me when we were talking about this wonderful piece of cinema.
Yes. Made by Steven Spielberg.
Definitely
It's not. Okay, we've teased it for long enough. Ben, what did we watch?
Right, let's go to the main topic. We watched Shrek.
Yeah.
But not normal Shrek.
Not normal Shrek.
Shrek Retold.
Yes.
Well, actually, I did watch Shrek immediately before. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that first. Shrek is a good film.
I think so.
We both like it. Are we in agreement?
Yeah, I like Shrek one.
Yeah. I think the animation actually held up surprisingly well, considering this makes me feel so old, but it's almost 2 decades old now.
Yeah.
Shrek is. I think the only thing that stuck out was I don't think any motion capture was used then because the movement of the characters in the film looked really weird in places.
Okay.
Especially like secondary characters. Mm-hmm. It looked very odd.
Yeah, I don't actually know.
Yeah.
But it was... I remember watching a documentary at the time saying that like Fiona's hair and stuff like that actually had to be reduced in realisticness because it was like getting uncanny valley.
Yeah.
Like it was like...
Nothing else had caught up enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically like her hair being captured and that way it looked really good.
Yeah.
And everything wasn't at that level yet.
It looked like a stick man.
Yeah.
With real hair. Like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Yeah, I remember at the time, because this came out 2001, didn't it, originally? I remember I didn't watch it for maybe 4 years because I saw the trailer in even, how old have I been? Like 7. I decided I didn't like it and just didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I think my siblings must have thought the same, but then we all watched it later and then we all loved it.
Yeah.
Classic.
I think it's probably... You could watch it young and not fully get it.
Yes.
And then watch it again when you're older and like, oh, I didn't realise that this was such a Mickey take of all the tropes that are fairy tale. And
I didn't clock onto any of that when I was younger.
No.
I can say that for a fact.
Yeah.
But it's very, what's the right word? It's like very meta. It takes a lot into... Yeah, it just makes fun of everything.
Yeah, it does.
And it's good at it.
and it's like, it's a little bit blue.
Yeah.
Like, the main evil guy is called Farquaad,
Yeah.
which is basically fuckwad. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's basically a fuckwad.
Yeah.
And there's quite a lot of nearly blue jokes, you know, brush your teeth and wipe your face or something like that, and it's like supposed to be arse.
There's a lot of moments like that, they're just done perfectly. Like, they don't feel too crude.
No, and as a kid, you either you don't notice it or it's kind of funny in and of itself as well. So Shrek, good film.
Shrek, good film.
And it has spawned a kind of a cult following. And there's a Shrek Fest where people go, and it's a festival to celebrate all things Shrek, which is kind of a Mickey take of like Comic-Con and other Disney kind of dress-up films. And this retold version of Shrek has spawned from that.
Yes. So do you want to describe what Shrek Retold is?
Yeah. So Shrek Retold is a community-made film where each scene is made by different people or multiple people for each scene. So the first scene is live action and was made by the guy that brought it all together. And it's kind of Shrek in his toilet, and it's just a dude in a Shrek outfit with a Shrek head, and he just kicks open this cardboard door, and he looks at his house, and it's made out of cardboard, and it's about a foot high, and it just kind of sets the mood of, oh, this is going to be a bit silly.
Yeah.
And it goes on to be one of the most surreal and weirdest things that I've ever watched.
Yeah.
So each scene is done differently, and scenes will often switch between different art styles as it's going on.
Yeah.
And there is some that's animated, and there's some that's live action. But I think it's amazing.
So my perception of this, I knew it was going to be a shot-for-shot remake by 200 different artists, isn't it? Recreated scenes.
I wouldn't have said shot for shot.
Because that's what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
And I was expecting one creator would do one scene, and then it would move on to another creator doing another scene. But there was sections where it felt like frame by frame different people had made this.
Yeah.
So you'd have like a live action shot of Shrek's face, and then it would pan to a felt tip drawn donkey on a piece of paper, and then the next second would pan to Fiona melting in the corner, looking like she'd been made of Play-Doh or something.
Yeah, I think there were...
in the space of 2 seconds.
Yeah, I think there were a few scenes that have been made by multiple people, and they have sliced them together.
Yeah.
So that they kind of work. So that there were more people involved in it. Because I think those scenes were probably done in full on their own by an individual artist, and then as it's been edited together, it's been cut that way. That's the way I think it's been done.
Yeah, which is... So, okay, I would urge people to watch this. It's free, it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Don't go and watch it and then listen to this, because I feel like this is going to be very incoherent.
And even if you've not... It's an hour and a half long. If you've not
watch a
got
bit
an
of
hour...
it.
Yeah, just kind of skip along to...
Watch 5 minutes, and that's it for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're not a fan of Shrek,
Right.
don't watch this.
No.
If you're a fan of Shrek, don't watch this.
I think that's fair enough. It reminds me a lot of those kind of weird YouTube videos that you found like a down a deep dark hole, and you're like, how did I get here? And it's kind of very surreal.
Yes.
And like nothing makes sense. It's all very weird. That's what I think. That's what it reminds me of.
It really
completely.
reminds me of. So around, I don't know what year it would have been. Probably 2008, 9, when I first found YouTube for the first time.
Right.
And I think Smosh, the channel, were big creators there.
Okay.
It all felt very low budget, kind of weird, funny little skits. And it reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah.
Just very low budget. So like costumes, there was a lot of people just wearing wigs and
I was like, a full rig?
full rig, wearing a wig and then reading their lines off their phone, but just on camera.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a check the lines and then film.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of weirdness.
There were the scenes obviously vary in quality throughout the whole thing.
Some of them were good.
Some of them were really good.
Yeah.
If you were to name what your favorite scene was, could you remember one?
To be fair, I think my favorite one was the opening one.
Okay.
Just him bursting out of the cardboard toilet.
Yeah.
And then going about his cardboard house.
Yeah.
Either that, I think all the live action ones were my favorite.
Okay.
There was the other one that looked like it was just filmed in someone's flat, but they were using a nice camera and they'd done the paint quite well. Apart from Donkey was just a guy in a cardigan.
Yeah. Like they didn't even try.
No.
But I thought it was good.
But it was filmed. I could have happily rewatched an hour and a half if they just made the whole thing.
Yeah.
There was a few like hand-drawn animated ones that I liked. There was one when they were talking about onions, or just prior to talking about the layers of onions. I liked that art style. Mm-hmm. The rest of them were just, there was varying levels of quality. Some of them literally were just felt-tipped A4 pieces of paper that they were swapping in and out to animate.
Or there was like a picture of a donkey on a stick that they were kind of moving along. There was one guy that just vlogged in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And just said the word Shrek wrong maybe 10 times. Shrunk, shrink, Shrek. Shrimp.
Yeah.
Shreg. Yeah, lots of these. My favourite was the anime fight scene.
That was my least favourite.
Really?
I was going to talk to you about this, that I just don't think I'm a big fan of anime. Because for me, admittedly, I've not watched that much. So I think that I've just seen fairly standard stuff.
Right.
But it all feels identical.
It is kind of
like
similar.
You can make something feel anime by watch that sequence.
Yeah.
And for me, that's every anime fight sequence.
Yeah, but I think that is kind of a piss take meta of that.
I do understand that.
Yeah.
I just, So talk about why you think it's your favorite.
Because I think that was probably the highest quality animation in the whole thing. Like I think it was drawn really well.
Yeah.
It was voice acted in Japanese with like subtitles.
Yeah.
And then I think it was probably the perfect style to do that fight scene because anime do kind of outrageous fight scenes.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So I think it made that scene, which is like a little bit silly anyway, it made it become like serious in like anime style.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. That's why I liked it.
My favorite fight sequence.
Go on.
It just cut to a guy in his basement. He had a mask on, I think. Or maybe just he painted his face green and he was just fighting his two dogs.
Yeah.
He was the dragon.
He was the dragon.
He was wrapping himself around a pole and then just kind of grabbing his dogs and going, "Arr!"
Yes. So that'll tell you a lot of the weird quality of this.
Yeah.
There was some very surreal bits.
Yeah.
It felt as if we had taken LSD or something hallucinogenic and then watched the normal Shrek.
Yes.
The one that weirded me out the most was the animated style that was it was the same shot, but their faces were just like melting into like this weird thing.
I hated that.
And then as it switched to another shot, their face was normal, and then it just melted in like this weird...
But they did it to a degree where the shot felt like it was constantly moving even when they were still.
Yeah.
But you couldn't quite clock when it was transforming.
Yeah.
Because initially it was on Fiona's face. And I thought that she was transforming into an ogre and then just realized she was melting.
Yeah.
And then the next person, they like sprouted 3 eyes.
Yeah.
And their face just kind of twisted. I didn't like that. Did not like that.
No. But I think it was
good.
well
done though.
Yeah. Like a lot of this stuff I didn't like.
Yeah.
Because it was weird. But I liked it because it was weird.
I think I said this earlier. For me, if we weren't doing this for the podcast and I wasn't with you, I would have watched maybe 10 minutes of that.
Yeah.
And switched it off, and that would have been enough for me. Because it kind of felt, once you'd seen 10 minutes, you had seen the whole thing. If you've already seen Shrek.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think you made the mistake of watching Shrek beforehand because you've just watched the same story twice, but now you just watched a very weird one.
Yeah.
Whereas I've watched a weird Shrek today. Whereas you've watched a Shrek and a weird Shrek.
Yeah.
And you just Shreked it up too much.
Yeah, because there was a lot of sequences where I turned to you and I was like, I don't remember this being in the film that I just watched 10 minutes ago.
So the weird parts that I think they took a lot of liberty with were like the montage bits.
Yes.
So
some of them were great though.
Yeah. What was the one where they did the blowing up of the animals? If you remember that, where they like fall in love. Yeah. It was very it was an animated style and it was very weird and kind of Rick and Morty.
Very Rick and Morty, that one, yeah.
Yeah, which I think you enjoyed that one as well.
Yeah. The bit I enjoyed the most is, so there's a bit where Fiona wakes up and she starts singing to a bird, and then the bird sings back, and then she sings so high that the bird explodes.
Yeah.
But it was all done in that world. Even when they were talking to each other, they were communicating through this weird synth.
Yeah, it was like
there was someone it was like someone was scatting to each other.
Yeah.
To communicate.
I said to you, it's like the clangers. Is it the clangers?
Yeah.
But they do it in whistle, don't they?
Whistles. Just so strange. I think I take it back. Actually, my favorite sequence was, so there was a guy kind of ventriloquist dummying with Shrek, and it was over the Hallelujah section. Yeah. But he looked so happy and pleased with himself.
Yeah.
I feel like whoever was directing him was in on the joke, and he was not.
No.
I feel like he was just doing a serious version of Hallelujah, and they gave him a direction at the end where they were like, no, they're not Shrek at the moment or something, and he was like, yes they are. They became what, I can't remember what it was,
basically it was like, and then Fiona turned into a Shrek.
Yeah.
And like he was like, no, I've seen it, I've got videos. Yeah. And like I think he was either he's playing along like he was doing it, or he didn't know that it was just an ogre, and that Shrek was an ogre, Fiona became an ogre, and Shrek's
I like
not
to
the
think
thing.
that he really was being genuine there, because it was the most innocent thing. Like when he finished his take, he smiled at the camera, and it just freeze framed on him looking so proud of himself.
And his Hallelujah rendition wasn't great. And he didn't know half the words.
The best thing about it was he butchered the words most of the way through, but all of the subtitles gave the correct lyrics. So he'd say a completely different line, and the words would appear correct below it.
The major fourth and the minor fifth, isn't it? And he was like, the major lift. And he's like...
He was just the major. Oh, yeah.
Major lift. And he's like, that's not how that goes.
Oh, dear.
I thought we would maybe have more to talk about this, but really, I think all I want to say is it's weird. And
so weird.
I'm kind of sorry that I made you watch this.
I'm happy that I watched it.
Yeah.
Am I? Maybe I'm not.
You can say that you've had an experience.
It did have. I feel like I would have enjoyed this more if we'd either taken drugs immediately beforehand or got really drunk beforehand and watched it. It's just so strange.
Yeah. Next time we have some hallucinogenic drugs, Ben.
Yeah, because that happens all the time.
Yeah. Why do you think we do this podcast? This is just you on your own, really, Ben. I'm not. This is you doing two voices.
I'm just voicing, yeah. Voicing, let's talk about that. I think it was predominantly American people who had made this.
Yes.
I don't think there was maybe one convincing Scottish accent in there.
Right.
An American trying to do a Scottish accent, a lot of the time, just sounds like they're trying to do an English accent.
Yep.
But like the stereotypical kind of Queen's English voice that you'd expect, but just with some weird added vowels now and then.
Yes. And also the one that was like, he was a weird Russian Frenchman.
Are you all right?
Perfect. Never been better.
There's something I have to tell you.
You don't have to tell me anything, princess. I heard enough last night.
You heard what I said?
Every word.
Yeah.
That was weird when it was the same guy playing every role.
Yep.
And his accent was just like weird.
So surreal.
Yeah.
He did sound Russian when he was being Shrek.
Yeah.
I think the Scottish accent is a really hard one to do.
It is.
Even for someone native to the UK, where we're in contact with it.
Is Mike Myers Scottish?
No. Originally, they were... I think he tried to do Shrek with a Canadian accent, but didn't like it, and they thought that... Because it's all fairy tales in Shrek, I think they said that they wanted it to be more European.
It was somebody else first, wasn't it? It wasn't Mike Myers, it was...
I don't know. It might have been different before that.
Yeah, it was. He came in afterwards, I think. Let me find out who the original Shrek was, because something Furley, maybe?
Maybe.
Chris Farley. Not Furley.
Mm.
Yeah. So there's... I don't know if you want to play this. There's going to be some...
I like my cockles room temperature, thank you very much. Hey, if you're not doing this for Cockle Woman, why are you doing it?
Simple. Fartwad gets his princess, I get what I want.
Which is?
I don't have time to set it to music.
Oh, this is another one of those onion things.
No, this is one of those drop it and leave me alone things.
What do you think?
He's way better Scottish.
Yeah, he is. But is that only because you know what he sounds like?
I think it just works for his voice. That didn't sound deep enough.
No.
I don't know. There was just a quality to his voice that it just didn't sound right.
But anyway, no one can do a Scottish accent.
No one can do a Scottish accent. I think there was one in there where we said, oh yeah, it sounds alright.
That's quite good. Yeah, and there's not many people could do Donkey's accent either.
No. Eddie Murphy?
Eddie Murphy,
Is
yeah.
that who you're looking for?
What is his name? I don't want to say someone else. I'm like, oh no, it's not him.
Yeah. My favourite sections of watching this, though, was there was a lot of people just bringing their pets into the shots. I think that was my favourite thing.
Yes.
Seeing dogs in wigs.
Yeah, that dog in a wig that was Fiona. That was good.
How many bars?
Should we do an original Shrek? What would you give original Shrek bars?
I want to go 4.
Yeah, I'd give it 4 bars.
Yeah.
See, I think it's weird to judge this on its like an ordinary scale.
Yeah, but what else are we going to judge it against?
Because it's not meant to be a serious film.
No.
So like I like it for what it is, but I wouldn't give it an Oscar.
No. I think that's very safe to say.
So I almost like this more than I like the Shrek film.
I would not say that.
But it's only because I like the Shrek film, and I think this is like a very tongue-in-cheek. It's my kind of humor. It's very silly.
Yeah.
I'd give it at least 4 bars as well.
I think that's preposterous.
Why?
Because there were sections of this that amused me.
Yeah.
But amused me in a, this is surreal, what am I doing kind of way.
Yeah.
And then I would say a 70-30, 60-40 split. 60% just ridiculous nothingness.
Right.
And then a 30 or 40% of, that's actually amusing me. Mm-hmm. So I'd give it somewhere around a 1 or a 2 bar.
I guess we'll just have to agree.
All the music sequences in this were pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I saw that they have their own videos separately online for this. Mm-hmm. Some of the versions of the songs were great, like the 80s synth pop version of which song was it towards the end? Was it I'm a Believer they did?
I'm a Believer, yeah.
That one was great. The opening one, Smash Mouth. Mm-hmm. Can we just say that song is just embedded in, that is the early 2000s.
Yeah.
If you were to describe to someone in no words the early 2000s, you'd just play All Star.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah,
I agree.
That might even be the theme tune for this week. There we go.
There you go.
Insert theme
there.
there.
Right at the beginning of that. Fine,
yeah.
we'll agree to disagree. I thought it was a good film.
You're wrong.
I'm wrong because it's not a good film. It's not well made. It's edited. You've got to agree it's edited well-ish in that it kind of does flow.
I mean, it is a miracle that they made it flow in some way.
Yeah.
Because some of the sequences started with, hi, my name's Barry. I'm going to be depicting scene 23. Yeah. Not good, though.
No.
I do feel like that's an hour and a half that I'll never get back.
Yeah, but then we've got to talk about it on the podcast.
That's
so
true. Well, that's even longer that I won't get
double
back.
Time. Right, I think we should end it there.
Let's end it there then.
Yeah.
This has been another week of Two Sheep in a Pool. If you've liked what you've heard, somehow, you can find us on all the normal places. You can email in at bar@twosheepinapool.com, BAA like a sheep. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Till next week.
Thanks for listening.
See you later.
Bye.